What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Today I have for you guys another exciting unboxing to dig into. Before we get started, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I would love to have you here. And before you head out, hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. And if you feel inclined, go ahead and leave me a comment down below, even if it's just whatever you're carrying for the day. I love hearing from you guys, no matter what it is. So, this is something that I picked up myself, and wow, that looks great. Box is half opened already on all ends, just waiting to come out. So, we have a Civivi, and this is one that I've been eyeing up since they dropped. It's got a very interesting look to it, and I decided to go ahead and pick one up. We got the standard affair from Civivi in the zippered pouch, stickers, pamphlet, microfiber cloth, and then we have our pocket knife here. So, this one, I wasn't sure which one I wanted to get as far as the variant, the version. But this is going to be the Civivi Bulltusk in purple micarta. Let's take a flipper on this guy. And it's got a satin finished drop point style blade, if you will. Or maybe even you could say a sheep's foot, I guess. More of a drop point, a very low drop point. And yes, 14C 28N steel. Look how thin that is. That is a fairly thin blade stock, and that comes down nice and thin. Whoo, baby. We have a nice cutout here for the thumb and reverse flick, and the detent on this is tuned very, very nicely. Already feels nice and broken in. Already dropping shut, and a very controlled drop shut. Woo! Yeah. Hey, it looks like Civivi's doing a little bit of redesigning on their pocket clips. I don't get a ton of Civivis anymore, and it's been a while since I've gotten one. Nice and recessed along with the clip screws, and they didn't give us a filler tab like on the Kubey. And I'm sure other models. I don't think the Chevalier 2 had a filler tab either. Maybe it did, but I don't think it did. Liner has a nice chamfer, or no, it's got jimping on it, which will be nice and grippy. I thought that was a chamfer jimp combo. I love when companies do that chamfer with the jimping on the chamfer. Man, is that just... that's extra, extra good, in my opinion, of course. But I do like the different new pocket clip that they are using instead of with all the windows. And, it was a little too much. This looks nice and clean. You just have the cutout for the screws there. I would love it if they did a filler tab on these knives. I love that they're making them lefty carry. But anything, just a G10 or... I don't know, anything, but a filler tab of some sort would just clean this up so much better. A little piece of aluminum, however you want to do it, but give us a filler tab to make that look, to kind of complete the look. It's seriously, it's the same thing I said about the Kubey. It really makes it look like they forgot to finish the design, like they forgot to finish the knife. It's just what it looks like. There's a piece missing there. And, at a given price point and stuff, it's not something to not buy the knife over. Like, if you love how tall and thin and the blade steel and you love everything about the knife, that's not something to, not buy a knife over. But, getting down to the nitty-gritty and, really critiquing this knife, as awesome as this knife is, it feels like because of that filler tab missing, that the knife is incomplete. That's just how I feel. As it's already very solid. I'm sure it's got a great edge on it. We're going to double check it. Lockup is sitting pretty good, about 30% or so. Did we check? We didn't check centering. Looks like it's off by just a touch, but that could be just a turn of the pivot. Let's double check that because sometimes that's all it is. T8. Yep, just a slight turn of the pivot. Looks like it corrected itself. Still a touch. Just a little tiny hair. But almost completely centered up there. It looks like maybe it needs readjusted. Wonder if we can, let's see. It's still off, just by a little tiny bit. It might be hard to make out there. But it's off to the show side by just ever so slightly, which isn't. And I tightened it up. It actually made the action a little better. So why don't we go ahead and we'll pull our issuing stitches hank out here. And we will see what this guy looks like in the pocket there. And because of the design of the pocket clip being a deep carry fold over clip, it will conceal most of the knife. There won't be barely anything poking out of the pocket. And it seems like it has very good retention on that clip. All in all, Civivi does a great job. I think they can get away, or I think they can get away with certain stuff because they are Civivi. But I think, because they are Civivi, they should be held to an even higher standard, than maybe an up-and-coming company or a company who's only been around for a little tiny bit. It's going to keep going back to that filler tab for me, guys. That should be taken care of. It's, you see it on very inexpensive knives that they have that filler tab taken care of with something. I don't care if it's FRN or G10 or micarta or aluminum. I really don't care, but give us something to complete that handle. While I'm thinking about it, let's see what this does up against some cardboard. Just single ply. Does have some tape and whatnot on it, so could cause a little bit of resistance there. Let me know if you think, do satin blades, does it feel like in some cases that tape's getting the best of it a little bit, but still going right through? Do you ever feel like the satin finishes really help you get through material easier? Or is that just something I created in my head? So before we bash this knife's brains out with the spine whacker, I'm just kidding. I want to see if I can get some people roused up a little bit. We'll clean the blade off, clean him up before we bash his head in. Put your votes in now. Does it pass? Does it fail? We're going to check that lock out. The edge, I've had better from Civivi, just being honest. It's decent though. I mean, it's better than a lot, but not quite up to what I'm really usually, and maybe it's just what I was just cutting or how I was cutting, but usually Civivis, if nothing else, even if you don't end up liking the design or whatever, it has a incredibly good edge on them. They're known for doing very good edges right out of the box as far as a production knife is concerned. That is satin finishes though, guys. You cut up tape and cut up sticky stuff, you're definitely going to have some residue. That's, if you're wondering, Blue Lube, I've had that bottle for, now wasn't my only bottle of lube that I used, but that bottle's about 3 years old and maybe even a little longer than that, and still running pretty strong. I like that stuff. So let's see what we got here. Do I like it better than KPL? I think in some cases, yes, but in other cases, maybe not. Kind of just depends. So we have no up and down, and we have no side to side there. Is that can you? Yeah, you can kind of get a finger in there, a fingertip, if you will. I do love this blade. I will say that. It's been a while since we've had a knife fail, coming out of box. The only knife that we had fail, I believe that was due to the coating on the liner and the lock face. That was the Remet Rhino, the button lock version. That one failed, and then I was able to clean the tang and the lock face up, just a little bit of light sanding, and that thing has been rock solid ever since then. So if you have a coated blade and liner, or either or, and your knife is failing, you've checked it, take it apart and check that lock face and that tang. See if you have any coating that got on there one way or the other, and that could be a culprit. Just so you know, I do have a video up on it. You can find it right on the channel very easily and see what I did. Just sand them down lightly, very lightly, clean it up, put it back together, and see what you got. And, you might be in luck. But this is for the money, this is a very nice design. I like the blade steel choice. I like the finish on the blade. They're giving us a nice satin finish here. They're not, doing some sort of bead blast or sand blast. Not some sort of cheapo coating or anything like that. They're giving us a nice, very nice satin finish, I have to say. And that goes all the way up onto the flat, onto this chamfer here. I love this little ramp with the jimping that goes up there. That's a really solid grip. And then this is going to be pretty nice for, you kind of run right over top of that if you really need to get up on that tip. And then, like I said, you can get a fingertip in there if you have some very lighter duty work but need a lot of control. You can definitely get that there. And then in the standard grip, the ergos with no backspacer, which I didn't mention, there is internal milling in there for weight relief. It's not a heavy knife at all. For no backspacer being in there, this is pretty damn comfortable. You can feel the pocket clip a little bit, which is normal. And then, it feels pretty good. Wrench back on that guy, see what, it does to your hand, see if you have any hot spots or anything like that. And this one feels pretty good in my hand. I have about an XL sized hand or so. And, this seems to fit me very, very well. I like the little angle, the little taper to the handle. Kind of fits up in your hand a lot nicer. And I love that tall blade shape. That is a pretty tall blade there. Very, very beautiful looking. It kind of reminds me, maybe I'm tripping, but it kind of reminds me of the Shadows blade shape a little tiny bit. And it reminds me of something else. What does that look like? I don't know. Lots of knives, I guess. But, right out of the box, nice and drop shutty, or, fairly controlled drop. And then thumb and reverse flicks are all money. Flipper tab is money. This is one I really liked it, but I just didn't pick it up. I really hesitated to pick it up just because I didn't want to just get just another Civivi, You kind of get stuck in that and you don't get out. So I've tried to stay away from just picking up every model, from all these companies because it's impossible to do sooner or later. And I didn't want to just pick up just another one. I wanted to be sure. And this is a Civivi that I kept coming back to, over and over and over again, since these were released, which has been quite a little while at this point. And finally, on Friday, I was like, I'm going to pick it up and go ahead and pull the trigger, see what we got. Picked up the purple micarta. It's nice. I don't have any purple micarta. And I think that goes together very well. They have a bunch of different versions you can pick up. But I think, yeah, all in all, I think it's going to be a solid little EDC knife. Comes in a great steel. Got a nice handle. It's a good size. We'll do a full overview of this, of course, guys, here in the coming days. And we'll do a little deep dive into this guy and kind of see how this thing has done under the, short-term type of ideals. But I think this will be a solid knife, especially if you like the design. And, you don't mind that filler tab deal there. And like I said, don't let that dissuade you from picking this up. It's not a deal breaker. But it is kind of like, you're kind of cheaping us out, on a filler tab here. But other than that guy there, I would have loved to have seen a backspacer in here, which I always say if there's none. But other than that and the backspacer, I think this thing is pretty solid. Told it for lefties. Solid lockup, so great job on that. I like the pocket clip better. Seems like a couple companies are redoing their more affordable line of knives pocket clips, which is great. Very good. It almost reminds you of a titanium clip, doesn't it? It kind of looks like it could be a titanium rollover clip. And they keep the show side of the blade clean, which is a huge check mark box. Great job. You have the C on the pivot, which isn't, I'd much rather that than something on the blade. So 100% keep that up over putting anything on the blade. Won't mind it if they did do that a little bit smaller, kind of just shrink it down and put it in the center. That way it really goes a little bit better, a little cleaner. But all in all, I think this thing is going to be a solid little EDC knife. The Civivi Bulltusk looks like another good knife from Civivi. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And like I said, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you here. Memberships are open and live. Member description, you can pick one up. We do giveaways every weekend for the members, only the members, and it's well worth it to become a G-baller here at the old G-ball vision. Well worth your while. Love you guys, and I will catch you on the next one.